It. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. I'm here today because I'm concerned about the bondage that the human race experiences every day. I'm concerned because you would be concerned if you knew the truth. This bondage it was sneaked upon us. We were born into it. We didn't know what was happening. And right today, we live in all of this, whatever situations of life we find ourselves in, we still cannot identify it as being the worst, or even as being on the track of the worst. And if we do believe that it's on the track of the worst, we can't think of anything that we can do about it. We would think that maybe if somebody tried our ideals, it would work at least a little bit better for us, and maybe not so much for the others. And this is a principle that we as human beings have followed ever since we started following the dictates of the deceiver. My point to you today, ladies and gentlemen, is this. Nothing new. I've been saying it to you all the time. We can really stop focusing on politics, and we can stop focusing on Donald Trump and what Donald Trump is trying to do, and what the Democrats are trying to do, and what Mullins is trying to do, and what the AG is trying to do, and all of this confusion, and everybody trying to prop themselves up as being worthy of whatever position they may have. In the end, the consequence to you, the people, would be devastating. Devastating because it is the path that leads to devastation. I come before you today, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you this, to remind you that what we understand is not all that there is. There's more than that. I want to say to you that God, now, I know a lot of you don't want to hear anything about God, and that's because God has been beat down, used, abused. But I cannot believe that it is just within me, within my own heart, demonstrating a compassion for all human beings, even those who are the benefactors, or those who are the ones who, that fraction of 1%. So, I got people just like you who have heard, who suffer because of the systems that we live under. And yet all I want to see is change that brings everybody to that fruition of dreams that they've been dreaming about all of their lives. So I can't, and you don't, I can't see that being me when you don't even think about it. I had a friend that tell me once, and I'm just going to share this with you. He said, Porter, that's what they call me sometimes. If I was driving down the street and I was close to a railroad track, and I saw a man standing on the railroad track and the train was coming, I'd slow down a bit to see was he going to move. And if he didn't move, I'd sit there and let that train hit him, like, because I think he was an ignorant so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And it just blew me away, because I'm thinking if I saw it and it looked like this man wasn't going to get out of the way, I'd do everything I possibly could to get there and try to get him off this track. So we can see the two extremes that people will go to in any given situation. I, just like you, so on and so forth. But there's something that's good about it. The man who gets off the track will feel very wonderful, perhaps, especially if he wasn't trying to do it intentionally. And if he was trying to do it intentionally because of some frustration that he was going through, and somebody somewhere had a vision that would eliminate that frustration, then what a wonderful world this would truly be. Because if it happened for one, it can happen for you, and it can happen for me. So I'm coming to you, ladies and gentlemen, to say that this idea got to be from God. In other words, it got to be from somewhere that you can't get it from, because you act like you don't have it. And I say that because for 40-some years I've been out here championing peace and prosperity and joy, which you all say you want. But I know the bondage that you're in, ladies and gentlemen, you don't know it. Now, I used to didn't know it, but for some strange reason, I was snatched and given some information that is required that I stand here in light of the absence of that spirit that proved to me the existence of power that's unseen. I'm here because of that power. I'm here to give that power voice. I'm here to give that power life. And the truth of it, this, ladies and gentlemen, is this. You are in bondage, but you don't know it. Example, most Americans speak English as a language. They don't speak German, French. Some of them do. They take some extra training to learn those other languages. But for the most part, Americans speak English. Why? Because that was the language spoken. That was the American language, English. And so everybody come up and they were speaking English. So, likewise, if you come up in corruption, you don't see it as corruption. You see it as a way of life. What it really is this, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who have seen Western movies, you saw movies about the soldiers and how they were taking that and killing the Indians. They called them Indians. I don't know what they were, but you know what they're reference to. They would just slaughter them, put them on reservations, and they would work down and beat down till one day they gave up. They say, we give up. They killed all the warriors off. Started looking at the women and children and old folks. They said, if we don't give in, we will have no further existence. So they gave up. Same thing that happened to the slaves. They were beat down and so on and so forth. And they kept fighting. They kept fighting and kept fighting. And even today, after all of eternity, since they've been caught up in the situation, they still fighting. Many of them have thrown up their hands and said, I give up. But giving up is the same thing as when you have the truth that allows you to experience peace, prosperity, and joy. But then some deceiver comes along and puts you on a path that's leading you to nowhere, leading you to hell and deeper in hell, and you have tried to fight against it, and then one day you just give up and say, I give up. Even the church, one day they just give up, and everybody falls suit. They still play their games, because everything in life that we understand existing in life, it has a front. It has two presentations. It has a front and an end game. The front is that thing that makes you say, well, it's a good idea. We should go along with that. A weather station, weather machine where people need rain and can't get it, that sounds like a good idea. Getting too much rain pushes out the way, that sounds like a good idea. They never thought about using those mechanisms to cause tsunamis, to cause earthquakes, to cause all kinds of windstorms. They never thought about this, but somebody did. And what do you think it's used for? You think it's used for pushing the clouds out of the way when you get too much rain? Pushing the clouds where you need rain? No, my friend, no. For weather, that's the way the game goes. So what I'm saying to you is that you don't know what's happening because you were just brought up in this thing. I want you to know that the dreams that you have about peace and prosperity and joy, they are there for a reason. You know that there are common things for your existence. And number one, your survival is on top. That's why you're following the devil, because it seems like that's the only way to survive. Just follow the devil on down to hell. Maybe God will catch you before you fall in. Well, you're already in hell. It might not be that deep to you right now, but somewhere in the world or in this hell is deep. And somewhere else in the so-called earth, or what we don't want to call it hell, somewhere is even worse than that. And somewhere else is worse than that. And you know what? All the pain and suffering is coming because of mankind. Mankind causing it to one another. Because they've left God out. God is the power that made everything. God is the power that made the earth profitable so that it can give you what you need to survive. Food, clothing, shelter, education, and health care. and gave you a job, a career of your own choosing, so you can play a role in manufacturing and creating these goods and services that allows you to not even worry about dying, not even worry, you just straight up surviving and living and growing beyond those things that's there for your survival. Oh my goodness. That's what God wants for you. That's what you want for yourself. But you got a deceiver keep telling you you can't have that. Keep telling you that somebody else is blocking you. When you see Donald Trump, the president, talking now, he like he got a lily white crowd. And that white crowd is sitting there screaming, yes, this man is for us. We don't care what you say about it. He's for us. He's for us. These people are not aware, or they seem to have forgotten, that just a few years ago, on the other side, there was a different group of people mixed up with salt and pepper, white and blacks. Yes, Barack Obama, yes, but doing just like they're doing. What it's going to do for us, what it's going to do for us. Now some people just lock themselves up in their brain and say Barack Obama did this, but he couldn't do it because there was the other group that was stopping him. Other group that was stopping him. And now the Trump group are going to be saying Trump want to do something for us, but it's the other group that's stopping him. All of this is planned. All of this is brainwashed. All of this is set up to keep you divided like that. And there's only one power. You want, Donald Trump folk, you want what you want. And these other people over here, whether you're with Barack Obama, whoever you're with, you want what you want. Both of you want what you want. So why don't you listen to somebody that can tell you how you can both get? Donald Trump telling you how you can get. He's not telling you how the other folks can get. And you don't care. All you want is yours. These other folks trying to say how they can get, and they lying because they've been talking that crap all the time and never got. Now they want you to believe that they got a new plan. I don't have a new plan. All of the human race is going to get screwed up. Screwed up because they have no sense. They have no sense because they've been blindsided. They've been whipped down by the evil of this world. And I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, this earth is hell. You hear people talk about God created a hell. Let me tell you how God created this hell. God said, "You shall reap what you sow." The seed produces the fruit. Now, what is that saying to you? If you sow those things that would cause a hell to come forth, God didn't create it. You did. If you got a seed that you plant in the wrong place to get the wrong thing, and it comes up just like that, and it ain't what you wanted, it's the seed that you planted. What do you expect? Don't blame it on God. What do? You fix yourself. How do you fix yourself? Well, someone said, and if people tried, they would learn, that if you do unto others as you would want God to do unto you. So you become God to everybody else. Now, Trump people, all those things that you want, start wanting them for every black person, and every Jew, and every whatever Israel, what? For every person on the face of the earth, you start wanting for them. Every person on the rest of the earth, start wanting for yourselves and one for others. The same as you would want for yourselves, and what you got to give toward them, give it as though you're giving it to God. Each of you, do that. Now, Trump is not telling you that. Democrats and the rest of the world is not telling you that. Only person I know that's telling you that is me. Now, does that make me the son of God? I would know that you would say not, because you got mega churches filled with thousands and thousands of people, financing it with millions and billions of dollars. Should I say it, or should I say them? With billions, I mean, the church is just running over with folks. They're not hearing any message like this. This message right here is not going to be heard no more. I say in about 6 months, maybe 20 people, maybe, and that's a blessing, who will even click on and want to hear it. But there'll come a time when this message might be just too late. Right now, you're getting informed so you can prepare. Prepare means start coming together, thinking about, looking out for one another. When you do that, you'll find out that the storms will stop, because the people who are doing them and creating them will not be fed by your carelessness. No. They will not be doing this because you would have changed, and these things will be very important to you for the true reason and not for this game that's being played. I think I'm going to leave that right there right now. And it's only about you. You are the ones that's living in hell. And for those of you who think that you pleasing a God, you cannot please any other God by obeying the rules, the laws, and regulations of this God. You have heard it said that the Constitution is the law of the land. So some other law, when you start dealing with land laws, going to have to be dealt with within the system. But you don't have time to deal with this within a system. There's one law that's superior to all law, and that is the divine law. That is the law of God. And the law of God only needs God, what? To make it real, and the people to experience the benefit. That means you got to follow God's law and not man. And don't think that man's law is better than God. I say that to you, and I know you got no choice but to think that, because that's what you've been born into, that's what you've been raised into, and there's other things that I just mentioned to you sounds foreign and strange and crazy as a lunatic to you. But it really is. One day you'll learn. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights for all people, saying goodbye.